Hello, my bookish besties. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Jules, and this is another cozy mystery reading vlog. So, I am doing another round of reading the first in a series. These are books from my mother's collection. So, for this vlog, I'm going to be reading Class Reunions Are Murder by Libby Klein, Assault and Pepper by Leslie Budowitz. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. And The Uninvited Corpse by Deborah Sedenfelder. Now, I have already started one of these books. I am loving it. So, I already started Class Reunions Are Murder on Sunday. Today is Tuesday. I did take a little break from this because I realized I had not done an intro yet. So, I started this on Sunday and I am already 84 pages in. This book had me cracking up. So let me tell you what it's about. So, newly widowed and stuck in a middle-aged funk, Poppy has been running on cookies, infomercials, and one-sided chats with her cat for months. There's no way on earth she's attending her 25-year class reunion, especially after receiving a very bizarre letter from Barbie, the popular cheerleader who taunted her all through high school. At least not until Poppy's best friend practically drags her to the event. Using the dreaded homecoming as an excuse to visit her eccentric Aunt Jenny, Poppy vows to leave Cape May with pride and Spanx intact. Too bad Barbie is still the queen of mean at the reunion, and worse, that her dead body is lying right in front of Poppy's old locker. Singled out as the killer, it's up to Poppy to confront her past and clear her name. But between protecting her aunt from disaster and tackling a gluten-free diet, can Poppy crack the case before she's voted most likely to die by the murderer? Poppy is so fun and spunky, and she just has all these like witty sayings. Her friends are a hoot. Like when she goes back, her best friend does get her to go to this reunion, and they meet up with a couple other girls that they used to hang out with, and they are just hilarious. And so, you know, they're all basically older and wiser, and they just don't care what the mean girl still has to say. But of course, the mean girl's still the mean girl. I was laughing so hard when I was reading this. So I am excited to continue in this and let you know all my thoughts on it. So unless it gets derailed and goes downhill, this is probably going to be a new cozy favorite series for me. You guys, I had to come and give an update on this before I finish it because like I only have like 80 pages left. I'm already on page 300. I love this book. This might be my favorite cozy of the year so far. It is so funny. I cannot, like, the comical analogies that are thrown out like all the time through this entire book have me rolling and chuckling and giggling. So Poppy's back home. She's gone to her reunion. The mean girl Barbie is dead, and they found her in front of Poppy's locker, and Poppy found the body, and so nobody was around, and they came around when she like screamed for help, and people came over and they're like, what did you do to her? So everybody thinks that she killed mean girl Barbie. So one of Barbie is the name of the girl, the mean girl that got killed. So one of Barbie's friends is actually a detective now. So she is like full on determined to peg Poppy for this murder. She's like, you're going down. You did this. You're going down. They're finding evidence. So now Poppy's a little bit suspicious. Like, does she hate me that much that she would like plant evidence? Because like they came into her aunt's house and like did a full like sweep of the house, and she's like nervous that they're like, why don't you have any cleaning stuff? And because they're looking for something that would have poisoned Barbie. So Poppy's gone to like a holistic doctor. Like her aunt has told her she should go there so that to help, you know, her health, because Poppy's a little overweight, I guess. And so she's like, you should go paleo and you should cut out all chemicals and processed stuff and all this stuff. And so Poppy came home and like her and her aunt, she's like, we're getting rid of all this stuff. If I have to do this, you have to do this. And so they're going green. So they're getting rid of all this stuff, and they haven't like bought all their new stuff yet. And so she's like, it's so suspicious that you don't have any chemicals in your house. And then also her Aunt Jenny is in some trouble because, not really trouble, but like in jeopardy of possibly being put in a home because somebody called like social services on her and said that she is not able to live on her own because she's losing her mind. And she is a little whippersnapper, and she might be losing a little bit of her mind, but like not enough that she can't live on her own. So Poppy's trying to clear her own name, as well as try and figure out who is making reports that her Aunt Jenny can't live on her own. Anyway, so that's kind of where we're at now. And like, I am just flying through this book and I am loving it. I'll be back with my final thoughts, which are probably going to be very good. Good morning. Here I am again, recording on my phone because my batteries are dead on my camera. This camera probably has to have the worst battery life on the planet. And I actually have 3 batteries for this stupid camera, but they just don't last. And then apparently I had it plugged in, but the computer wasn't on because it charges through USB. Anyway, so I finished this last night, and we're not surprised that I loved this book, and I'm giving this 5 stars. I immediately wanted to go buy the rest of them. However, when I was looking to purchase them, I was going to get them used on Thrift Books. Half of this series is a different size. So me and my friend Wendy were Marco Poloing last night, going back and forth about how frustrating it is when the books aren't the same size. Like, why can we not just, this is the first book. Why can you not just mirror this? Why are we making different sizes? Like, who can we talk to? Who can I make a complaint to? It makes no sense. Make it make sense. Somebody make it make sense. So I really want this series, but I don't want the different sizes. So I don't know if I'm gonna order it or not. The most important thing about this series is the audiobook. The narrator for this book is Callie Bollier, and I absolutely love her as a cozy mystery narrator. She is so good. Like, the way she emphasizes things and her expressions, everything is just, it's perfect. It's like listening to a little mini movie in your head. Definitely going to continue in this. I can't even remember what I last updated you so I don't want to give too much. I always say this, I don't want to give too much away. So let's just say that somebody had it out for her aunt to get her aunt removed from the house for a certain reason, because they were wanting to purchase the house. So there was a lot of sneaky behind the scenes, like trying to trick an old lady type thing going on. She helped solve the murder. It was just a good time. I love it. Okay, so there's a part in the back toward the end of this that I just had to read. So I didn't really say, and it doesn't say in the back of the book, but Poppy's husband died. So that's all I'm going to say. And so this is her now. And she says, I'd done a lot of reflecting over the past weeks and realized something big. I was so afraid of going to prison that I failed to see that I was already there. Not all prisons are made out of iron bars. I had created my own prison in my mind when I chose to live shackled to shame and regret. I'd never lived life to the fullest out of fear. Fear of being too fat. Fear of not being good enough. Fear of being humiliated. I should have put myself out there and reached for the stars. It's my life. No one is going to live it for me. Aunt Jenny once told me, you'll never regret the things you fail, only the things you fail to try. What? How perfect is that? I just love that. Like, how many of us are holding ourselves back from doing things because we're afraid of failure, or afraid of being embarrassed, or afraid of looking like an idiot, or, you know, just whatever. Perfect example, BookTube, like starting a YouTube channel for any reason. Like, I had that in my mind for like years. I didn't know specifically what kind of a YouTube channel I wanted to create. So, I mean, that was kind of part of that, but just like, you know, the fear of, you know, looking stupid or being embarrassed or whatever, or the fear of no one's going to want to watch a video from me or whatever. So how many of you out there are wanting to start a BookTube channel or a YouTube channel of any kind of something, and you don't because you're afraid it's going to fail? But what if it doesn't? So, like, just do it. 1000% recommend this book. Moving on to the second book I'm going to pick up. I'm going to start A Salt and Pepper by Leslie Budowitz. I don't know if that's how you say that or not, but that's how I'm saying it. This is a spice shop mystery. And it says, after leaving a dicey marriage and losing a beloved job in a corporate crash, Pepper Reese has found a new zest for life running a busy spice and tea shop in Seattle's Pike Place Market. Her aromatic creations are the talk of the town, and everyone stops by for a cup of her refreshing spiced tea, even other shopkeepers and market regulars. But when a panhandler named Doc shows up dead on the store's doorstep, a Seattle spice shop's cup in his hand, the local gossip gets too hot for Pepper to handle, especially after the too hot for Pepper to handle. Get it? Especially after the police arrest one of Pepper's staffers, Tori Finch, for murder. Tori seems to know why she's a suspect, but she refuses to do anything to curry favor with the cops. This is a punny synopsis, if I've ever heard one. Convinced her reticent employee is innocent, Pepper takes it on herself to sniff out the clues. Only if she's not careful, Pepper's nosy ways might make her next on the killer's list. So we will see. If this book is anything as punny as this synopsis, it might be pretty funny. Anyway, I'll be back when I have some thoughts on this. Hello, I am gonna make some protein donuts, but I thought while I did that, I would update on this book. So I am 85%, I'm not 85%, 85 pages in, and I'm not having a good time with this. Not having a good time at all. So it's just kind of boring, and I really could care less about any of these people. So Pepper owns the spice shop, and apparently there are several homeless people that hang out in front of this like shopping area where her shop is, and she's friendly with all the homeless people, and she witnesses a couple of the homeless people. So there's a homeless guy that she doesn't recognize, so he's not a regular. And she sees him getting in an argument with another guy who is a regular. I'd say regular, like they're a regular homeless, but you know what I mean. Like if a person is homeless in a certain area, then they like stay there for a while, then, you know, and they see them all the time. That's what I mean by regular. So there's this guy, and they're having an argument about like, because this newer guy is like sitting in the spot that this guy usually sits in. So he's all mad, and, you know, Pepper's like, hey, you know, nobody can claim, you know, dibs on a spot, so maybe you guys could just take turns. Then the guy ends up dead in front of her shop. So, and obviously nobody knows who he is or where he's from. He just showed up, and then all of a sudden the guy that was arguing with him is now missing. So this regular that is there has taken off. So it seems suspicious. And then we just kind of follow along for a little bit of her, you know, doing the stuff inside her shop. And it's kind of boring. She was married to a cop for 13 years. So she is divorced now. So her ex-husband is, my train of thought, what am I doing? How much of this am I putting in there? Okay, back on track. I have this recipe memorized. I don't have to look at a recipe, but I forgot like what I was doing because I was talking. So, of course, her ex-husband just comes along because he's a cop, and he's not a detective, but he's a part of like the investigation because he is a cop. So the guy was found dead in front of her shop with one of her cups in his hand. And so she has like a tea/spice shop. And she's like, well, I don't know how he got a hold of a cup because we're not even open yet and nobody's here, you know, today. And then they noticed that one of her workers was in the shop. So they're like, well, who's that? And she's like, what? And so one of her workers was in the shop. So obviously that's suspicious because she was there when nobody was supposed to be, and the guy's dead in front of the shop. They start doing some digging, and they find out that apparently her worker did have a connection to this homeless guy. So they thought that nobody knew him, but apparently she did. So she is a suspect. She has been taken into custody, and apparently he was poisoned. And so now, since it was in a cup from her store, now they are tearing her store apart. Par for the course. when you find a murdered victim with poison from some type of a shop, they're going to investigate you. So now her store is being all torn up. That's all I know. But like I said, it's just kind of boring. I don't really love, excuse you. I don't really love the characters. I don't know. Anyway, so right now, that is all I have to update you on. I'm not that excited about it. But I will be back later when I have some more thoughts on it. What? I love you too. Yes, I do. Oh, good morning. Are you a good boy? Yeah, we're going to do an update, okay? You take a nap. So I'm back. Hang on, let me take my bud out. My bud. Okay, so I'm finally back with an update on this book. I finished this book like 3 days ago, and I never came back to do an update. Honestly, I just didn't care about this book. And I just kind of found myself spacing when I was reading it. Yeah, it's just, I have nothing good to say about this book. It was a basic cozy, you know, she has a shop, she was running a shop. The girl in her shop was accused of this murder. They found that the girl had ties to the person that was, you know, to the homeless guy that was murdered. Pepper did her investigating, interviewed people, figured out who the killer was. That's it. I gave this 2 stars. I'm not going to continue in the series, obviously, so I'm going to unhaul this. I can't say that there's anything about it that was just like that was awful that I didn't like. I just didn't have an interest in it. And I don't know if it's just because I was focusing on trying to get other books finished too, and I just kept, I don't know. The last book I'm going to pick up for this is The Uninvited Corpse by Deborah Sennefelder. I don't know if that's how you say her name or not. It says, Hope's schedule is already jam-packed with recipe testing and shameless plugs for her food blog as she rushes off to attend a spring garden tour in the charming town of Jefferson, Connecticut. Unfortunately, it isn't the perfectly arranged potted plants that grab her attention. It's the bloody body of rivaled real estate agent Peaches McCoy. One of the tour guests committed murder, and all eyes are on Hope's older sister, Claire Dixon, who, at best, saw Peaches as a professional rival. And suspicions really heat up when another murder occurs the following night. Now, with 2 messy murders shaking Jefferson and all evidence pointing to Claire, Hope must set aside her burgeoning brand to prove her sister's innocent. But the closer she gets to the truth, the closer she gets to a killer intent on making sure her life goes permanently out of style. It says includes recipes from Hope's kitchen. Let's just see what kind of recipes. I always go to the back and check the recipes. Let's see. Ethan's crisp chocolate chip cookies. We will definitely be trying those, y'all. Anytime I can try a new chocolate chip cookie recipe, I'm gonna try it. Let's see. Easy peasy rice pilaf. All-American apple pie. Oatmeal cherry chocolate bars. I might enjoy that. My husband and daughter wouldn't like it. Ooh, cinnamon apple bread. Okay, this has some good recipes. Hope's favorite chocolate chip cookie. Oh, am I gonna have to do like a battle of the chocolate chip cookies from this book? Maybe. Anyway, so yeah, I will be back when I have some thoughts on this book. Hello, I am back with an update. So I am 30% through. I am enjoying this. So we are following Hope. She is a blogger, a food blogger, and she has a friend who is also like a garden blogger, but she also writes like a gardening book. So her friend is having this big like garden tour and book signing at her house. Hope goes to this event at her friend's house, and of course her sister Claire wanted to go along with her just to tag along. She isn't really into gardening or any of that, but she just wanted to go. Her sister is a realtor, and there is another realtor in the area. It's a rival realtor that she has who has basically stolen a listing from underneath of her feet. This rival realtor shows up at this garden party I say garden tour, and was not invited. And so she kind of stirs up a lot of trouble. A lot of the guests do not want her there or seem to have a beef with her for whatever reason. Peaches is the name of this rival realtor. Name is Peaches. Peaches is found murdered when they're doing the cleanup. So one of the ladies at this tour apparently was like a librarian and hosted like a murder mystery club when the kids were younger, when like Hope was younger, and she was like, oh, you have to work on this case, you have to solve it. And Hope is like, what? Why would I do that? And she said, you were always solving the murder mysteries at our book club, so you're so good at it. And not only is she telling her that, but some of her friends are telling her that too. They're like, oh yeah, you were always the best at solving these, so you need to figure out who did this. Obviously she wants to figure out who did this because her sister is a suspect, because she had a beef with her. They find also some texts that the two had exchanged that were not so pleasant. So obviously Hope is doing some investigating. Hope also has a friend who is a journalist. And so he is always up in the know, and he's like, you have to find out everything and let me know so I can report on it. He also has a friend who is a police officer. I don't know if he's a police officer or a detective, but either way, they're longtime friends, but possibly want to be more to each other. There's an attraction there. So obviously he's telling her to stay out of it. So yeah, that is where I'm at right now. And I'm having a good time with it. I did notice earlier, remember I mentioned the cookies in the back. So there are 2 types of chocolate chip cookie recipes in this back of this book. So am I going to make both of them? Yes, I am. So the first one is a crispy, thin, slightly chewy and crunchy recipe. That is all me. Like I love a good crunchy chocolate chip cookie, but still chewy on the inside, but crunchy on the outside. The other recipe says they are buttery, thick, soft chocolate chip cookies. That is what my husband likes. He likes a gooey chocolate chip cookies. We are completely opposite. He tells me, so I will make him a batch. Like if I just get like the store-bought kind and I'm making some cookies, I'll make them like soft, but then I make, for me and my daughter, I'll cook them longer so that they get a little crunchy. And he's like, no. Anyway, so we're going to make some cookies soon, and I'm going to keep reading this book. And I will be back when I have some thoughts. Hello. Hi. I am back with an update. I had decided I needed to come update you guys because I'm literally burning through this book while I am meal prepping. So I went to the store today. It's Sunday, and I have a lot of meal prepping to do. So, I always meal prep for my husband. I always make him protein donuts, tuna cakes, sweet potatoes. But this week I am also meal prepping for me and my daughter because I am trying to get my gut health back on track. So we are eating better, and that means meal prepping. And yeah, as I talk about meal prepping and eating better, I have to make chocolate chip cookies. It's for the vlog. I'm actually going to send them with my husband to his work. I've meal prepped. I'm getting ready to make dinner, and yeah, then I'm going to make the chocolate chip cookies, and I am going to taste test each of them. But that is all I'm going to have. Then I'm going to pack them up and send them with my husband. So where I'm at now in this is Hope is getting herself in some trouble. So, she's doing some sleuthing. Obviously she's trying to get her sister cleared because things are stacking up against her sister that are not looking good. And she's like, she's not a killer. And so she's just doing some investigating, interviewing people, snooping, the huge. And she's had a couple of attempts on her life. It's got a good flow to it. I'm enjoying it. I mean, is it going to be one of my favorite cozies of all time? No, but I'm having a decent time with it, and I'm interested to see like where it's going and what's going to happen. So she also lives on a little farm, I guess, and she has chickens. So that is cute. I love a good story with some chickens in it. So I will be back to hopefully taste test some cookies and give you my final thoughts. I'll be back. back to do a taste test with these cookies. I am tired and hot. My back is so sore. I've been in the kitchen for like 5 hours. Between meal prepping, making dinner, and making these 2 batches of cookies, it was a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna, you can't see these. I have 4 cookies. There's only 2 batches of cookies, but they baked differently. So the first batch of cookies on each recipe, I baked for the time that it said on the recipe. They were both underdone. So then I added time on my second tray of cookies. I added time. Cookies are a science, like time-wise. 1 minute too long, you may mess it up. I got chocolate all over my finger. I'm not trying all 4 of these because there's only 2 recipes. I just wanted to show you. So the first cookie I made was the ones that were supposed to be the thin, crunchy ones. So this is what, you ready? Look at that. And they're all gooey underneath. Okay. That's not appealing to me at all. That is baked at the time of the recipe. This is the one I'm going to try, which is I added time to it. I feel like these have too much chocolate. Too much chocolate to dough ratio for me. I'm not a big chocolate person. I like the crunch. Okay. All right. It's a good flavor cookie. But these would be this is like my kind of cookie. These would be too overdone for my husband. He doesn't like them to be crunchy like that. The second recipe, this is baked at the recipe's time. Nobody wants a cookie that doesn't stay together. And then this is, and this is pretty. It's a pretty looking, and it stays together. But I don't know, we'll see. They're both good. They just both taste like a chocolate chip cookie to me. I still like my cookies better. They all turned out good. I'm pretty sure my husband's going to eat these. No matter what consistency they are, he's going to eat them. Okay, so final review of the book. It's mid-range, but higher than the 3, but not quite a 4. But I don't do half stars, so for the sake of the narrator of this book, I'm giving it 4 stars because the narrator of the audio for this is Kelly Beaulieu, and I absolutely love her as a narrator. For that reason, I'm going to give it a 4. So I did enjoy the rest of the book. She ends up having to get an attorney for her sister, and the attorney is cute. So we have a possibility that she may like this attorney guy. And then also her cop friend, in which he's actually a chief. Her journalist friend, Drew, he is so funny. He's always there he's like, we got to get the scoop. Let's go. I need a story. And so he was all about helping her figure out who done it. And then also Jane, the old librarian lady, she was hot to trot to help her solve the murder. So I do think I will go ahead and probably read the rest of the series. I think there's only 5 total in this series. She has another series that I think is a boutique series. And then I think she just recently also released a cookie themed series. Okay, so I had to change my lighting and angle. So to recap this vlog, I did not have a great time with the Salt and Pepper, gave that 2 stars. I had a fantastic time with Class Reunions or Murder, 5 stars. And then this one, Uninvited Corpse, was 4 stars. So overall, a pretty good reading vlog. So if you enjoyed this vlog, make sure to give it a like and keep your eye out for more cozy mystery vlogs because I have a great time doing them and sharing all my thoughts with you guys. And until my next video, friends, be yourself, be awesome, be kind. Bye.